Okay.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Herald here on Badlands Media. I'm your host, Jon Herold, and it is a Monday, and boy, does it feel like a Monday. It doesn't look like a Monday because I got a haircut. I look fresh right now, but that's about the only thing fresh about me. Weekend with the kids, so, tired and whatnot, but also on Mondays, as usual, it's one of the more boring news days. So we'll go through it was so boring today. Today I started reading through the 3,000-page NDAA that they're voting on, and they're trying to sneak some stuff in on us, which we'll probably talk a little bit about. But it's kind of hard because it's not like the final version of the bill. I saw the one the Senate passed. I know the House is doing some things. We'll get there. A couple interesting Truth Social posts. Other than that, nothing really crazy. So will probably be a shorter show today, but we'll see what happens. Before we get into it, though, I want to get a quick word from our sponsors of today's show, and a big shout out and thank you to Benson Honey Farms. Great people, and your prayers, so appreciated, at least by me. I know they appreciate them too. But Mo was struggling. She was in California, multiple surgeries. She was in the hospital for months, and she's back home now. Great way to support her and her family and Badlands at the same time is getting some of the best honey around from Benson Honey Farms, where every jar is pure gold. Benson's Honey is excited to be back on Badlands Media with their latest 2025 honey harvest straight from their farm in Nebraska. They've been busy working to improve their state politics from the ground up, and they never forgot the importance of sharing the best honey around. Did you know honey isn't just a sweet treat? It's nature's medicine, perfect for alleviating allergies, soothing upset stomachs, or as a delicious natural sweetener for baking. Benson Honey is never heated, ensuring you receive it in its pure, raw form, full of natural goodness. At Benson Honey Farms, quality and purity is top priority, and they're committed to providing the finest honey from hive to home. Join the supportive community and enjoy a special offer. Visit badlandsmedia.tv/honey. Use promo code Badlands for 15% off your purchase. Benson Honey Farms. Savor the authentic taste of Nebraska and support this America First business, and you can follow them on Facebook. We also got a quick spot from Rise of Tire.
Cheers, Badlanders. Ready to stuff your stockings with some new streetwear that'll really get the jimmies rustling? The holidays are here, and so is the new Rise Badlands collection, just in time to go walking in a winter wonderland. No matter where you're from, we're all Badlands natives with these brand new threads. Show up with the purtiest ugly sweater at the party with the Badlands Christmas collection, or make your favorite Badlander buddy feel all warm and fuzzy with a variety of plush and Sherpa blankets to choose from. Plus, you can stack the classics under the tree, deck the halls with Devolution, rock around the Christmas tree with Rushmore, or have yourself a merry little clown world. Everything we do is custom made from scratch by the elves at our East Peoria, Illinois facility, who are all legal U.S. citizens. But the process takes time, so don't wait. Grab your gear today at badlandsmedia.tv/rise. Under the tree and over the target.
Awesome. Josh and Brad and Alpha were funny last night. Yeah, that Q After Hours show is a pretty good one. Pretty darn good. Gator Rob, how's it going, man? The Bunny, Freedom Fighter, Angie, Candy. Rise of Tire, we got a good crew today. I know Y-Chromes is live as well right now. Another reason I'll probably keep it on the shorter side, but let's start plugging away. We got no update on the Doge website. I don't even know if they're planning on ever updating this again. I have no idea, but it is what it is. Nothing too crazy on the White House website either, addressing the security risks from price fixing and anti-competitive behavior in the food supply chain, trying to lower the cost of food, while he's telling us that food costs are already lower. There's also some CDC stuff, aligning United States core childhood vaccine recommendations with best practices from peer-developed countries. I think at some point we need to get wholly away from vaccinating children altogether. like babies. I don't know if we're quite there. There's rumors that they were going to be completely wiping that clean. I don't know if they've done that yet. Let's take a look at Trump's Truth Social. This is a couple. He's back to bashing Marjorie Taylor Greene. She was on 60 Minutes last night. I have not had a chance to watch it. Have you guys seen any of that interview? Let me see if there was one clip that I saw. Let's look at a couple of these.
It's the most toxic political culture, and it's not helping the American
But you
people.
contributed to that. You were out there pounding, insulting people.
Leslie, you've contributed to it as well with your own
Me?
program. Yes, you're accusatory, just like you did just then.
I know you're accusing me, but I'm
You're
smiling.
accusing me,
I am accusing
but we
you.
don't have to accuse one another.
I want you to respond to what you have done in terms of insulting people, yelling at people, and then saying,
I'd like for you to respond for that.
I
No,
don't-
you can respond
I
to that.
don't insult people.
You do in the way you question, and you're accusing me right now. It's the most toxic.
The bending the knee type stuff that these people ask for, I can give her props for not doing it. You know, trying to she kind of did it on was it CNN like a month ago after this first went down and Trump lashed out on her on social media, and she went on CNN. It's like, I do apologize. I'm sorry for whatever, all those things. But now she's done with it. And you can never bend the knee to the mob. So good for her on that. I'm not saying anything else about whether I like her or don't or whatever. It's kayfabe. I don't know. Some people think it is. Some people, no idea, don't care. This is another clip.
We did talk about the Epstein files, and he was extremely angry at me that I had signed the discharge petition to release the files. I fully believe that those women deserve everything they're asking. They're asking for all of it to come out. They deserve it. And he was furious with me.
what did he say?
He said that it was going to hurt people. We did talk about the.
It just doesn't make sense. So that's why I'm not even going to try to overanalyze this one. We'll see what happens. I don't think she's going to, I mean, who knows? I think I saw she said she's not going to run for president. I don't think she'd have a chance anyway. So annoying to listen to. Yeah. Not so sure it's fake, Shari. I don't know. I don't think so either. But some people think it is. I just don't know. And again, I don't really care. And why do you guys think it's scripted kayfabe? Like, what is the end game, and why is the kayfabe here needed? What is the kayfabe in this situation accomplishing? I'd be curious what you guys think of that. Was Rumble down? Oh, Josh Hall is sharing a link. Josh Hall is like super clickbaity. Like extremely clickbaity. Like a shill. So these posts, like I put zero stock in anything this guy says. I'm pretty sure I've brought him up on a show before when he mentioned something about Pence. I don't buy it. Let's see here. Nonstop squirrels. Yes, there are shooting squirrels in our backyard, and we can't stop chasing them. This is one of them. If she does it right, she can get the Georgia governor mansion. Can she though? I don't buy that either. She's trying to say it's all about the girls, giving info out to public that will hear it. I mean, the best person to get info out to the public is Trump himself. Dragon 45. Some people think every single thing is scripted. I don't know, and I don't care. I'm over it all. Kind of the same way. I don't buy that either, though. I'm just tired of the games everybody plays. I agree. Rumble was down from 821 to 906 today. Gotcha. Why does Josh Hall owe you $20? Leslie Hall repeatedly, this is from Bay Arthur's Dick, repeatedly asked MTG if she was MAGA, and she said, I'm America first. Don't think it accomplishes anything other than a failed attempt to separate Trump from his base. That I do agree with. I do agree with the America first, trying to split people off of MAGA. And if you look at this, and it is legitimate that MTG, like the fight is real, then if I were MTG, like I would feel a little hurt and betrayed by Trump, and I would ride those coattails and try to split the movement too. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but I can understand why she might try. I don't know. It's just drama. I do kind of want to listen to the rest of that interview, though. I'm curious. Waiting for the unedited 60-minute video. Yeah, I'm curious about that too, because they're going to try to spin it and make it look as bad for Trump as possible. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, Trump did take to Truth Social, and this is what he said. The only reason Marjorie Taylor Greene turns brown under stress went bad is that she was jilted by the president of the United States. Certainly not the first time she has been jilted. Too much work, not enough time, and her ideas are now really bad. She sort of reminds me of a rotten apple. Marjorie is not America first or MAGA because nobody could have changed her views so fast, and her new views are those of a very dumb person. That was proven last night when washed-up, Trump-hating 60 Minutes correspondent Leslie Stahl, who still owes me an apology from when she attacked me on the show with serious conviction that Hunter Biden's laptop from hell was produced by Russia, not Hunter himself. Totally proven wrong. Interviewed a very poorly prepared traitor who, in her confusion, made many really stupid statements. My real problem with the show, however, wasn't the low IQ traitor. It was the new ownership of 60 Minutes. Paramount would allow a show like this to air. They are no better than the old ownership, who just paid me millions of dollars for fake reporting about your favorite president, me. Since they bought it, 60 Minutes has actually gotten worse. Oh well, far worse things can happen. P.S. I hereby demand a complete and total apology, though far too late to be meaningful, from Leslie Stahl and 60 Minutes for her incorrect and libelous statements about Hunter's laptop. President Donald J. Trump. I don't know. So dumb. Are we living in an episode of Stranger Things? I know what I hate about the way they do things on TV now, like on the streaming platforms. Instead of releasing an entire season so you can just binge watch it and get it over with and get on with your life, they release it in installments, like the Stranger Things show, which I probably never would have gotten into that series had it not come out. I mean, it came out like, what, 5 years ago? 4 years? It came out so long ago. And so I got into it before I even really got into what I'm doing now. And now I just want to like finish it, right? But they put out 4 episodes, and they're putting on another 4 episodes on Christmas, and then a final episode on New Year's or something. Just put it all out at once. Did I miss the Emerald Robinson part yet? Is she still going with that thread? I forgot to even check that today. There's no way. Hold for processing. I'm looking at her thread, which I do want to talk about this as well. Briefly, what Patrick Byrne posted. Yeah, I don't see anything. I don't see any numbered posts for a little while yet. So count your blessings, guys. The thread may be over. I may never have to talk about it again. But Patrick Byrne did put this out this morning. And the one thing I noticed, well, I'll read it first. Historic letter from Peter Tickton to the president. Revelations galore tell a story everyone from John Ratcliffe to Judge Nichols fought to keep from the public. Every member of the D.C. bench has ruled harshly against a J6er and has vested interest in burying this. And it's all about Tina Peters, and she should be out of jail. Pray for her health and whatnot. I just don't believe Trump can do anything about it. And a lot of the methods that people are putting forth to get her out, I mean, I don't know if we want to cross some of those lines. Like some of the people are calling for violence and whatnot. Like it's the only way we're going to get this resolved is if we, take to the streets. I don't approve of that. But this line right here, a story everyone from John Ratcliffe fought to keep from the public. This is like the second or third now time that Patrick Byrne, Emerald Robinson, people in that little orbit have gone against John Ratcliffe. And I'm just having a hard time believe that he's some sort of bad actor. I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible. Anything's possible. I just haven't seen anything yet. And a lot of the stuff I have seen, especially going back to his first term, like he was one of the people that was very actively trying to get information out to the public. We just got a story the other day that it was Durham who wanted to keep something private and classified that Ratcliffe wanted to get out. So I don't know. Like if the CIA is the enemy's intelligence agency, right? Like almost their weaponized, it's their group. The CIA is a deep state entity for the most part. Okay, you put John Ratcliffe in there, ideally with the goal to clean it out. If you're not going to dismantle it altogether, you're going to clean it out. And if those are his actual intentions and that is what he's working towards, why are people trying to discredit him and try to get him removed and whatnot? I mean, obviously the flip side is that he is a bad actor and these guys' intentions are pure and they're just trying to, look out for the Trump administration and do it in a way that, says Trump doesn't know anything and has no idea what he's talking about, doesn't know his people, all those things. Again, delegitimizing him a little bit, which I do not like or agree with. Clairecat367, you're still saying that about Pence too, John. So, and again, even though it's getting harder to do that, there's still been no direct evidence that Pence is a black hat or whatever, if we're going to play that game. But there's even less on Ratcliffe. Tom Fitton has dirt on Ratcliffe. I'd be curious to see what it is. A federal election investigation could have had Peters out 8 months ago. This administration is not doing anything about election fraud. Yeah, I have heard, getting her as a witness could get her out. Hell's Bay, having corruption pointed out ad nauseum with nearly zero consequences is getting on my damn nerves. Seems to be that seems to be the sentiment lately from a lot of people. It's almost like there's we're reaching a boiling point. And that might not be the worst thing to get at. Because the first, 8 months of this administration, every time we would criticize anything, people were like, oh, it just takes time. Just be patient, cheerlead along. And now it's kind of flipped a little bit. And I do think that's interesting. Lulu12345. John, why aren't you listening to what Mike Gill is saying regarding Patrick? I don't even know who Mike Gill is. So why would I listen to him? Never heard of him. Phil Scarborough, equality. As someone who's followed Burns a long time, I find it hard to believe Byrne is making all this up or part of an op. Byrne did expose a lot of corruption of Wall Street in 2007. Yeah. But did he? I don't remember that. I mean, I haven't really followed Patrick Byrne's trajectory or his career or any of that stuff. So you guys that have been following him longer, I'm not trying to knock what he's done in the past or who he is. Like, I don't know him personally. And he was going to come on Badlands last week, but he backed out. We're going to try to get him back on again. But I'm just commenting on the ops as I see them. There is an op to delegitimize Trump, to split his base from him, and it's coming from this same kind of corner of the movement. And Patrick Byrne's kind of in that corner. So I don't know what to say. Don't know what to tell you. Don't really know. It's confusing. We're in retarded op storm at the moment. Yes. Kelly Loves Oak. Venezuela fake elections will soon be coming here to roost via Smartmatic. I sure hope so. Want to get that stuff exposed at some point. We have this from Trump. There must be only one rule book if we are going to continue to lead in AI. We are beating all countries at this point in the race, but that won't last long if we are going to have 50 states, many of them bad actors, involved in rules and the approval process. There can only... struggling Monday reading. There can be no doubt about this. AI will be destroyed in its infancy. I'll be doing a one rule executive order this week. You can't expect a company to get 50 approvals every time they want to do something. That will never work. I agree with that part, especially at the end. You need one person at the end making the decisions, and that's how all successful companies run. But when it comes to the AI stuff too, that's interesting. You think, these AI companies, they're, big tech, they're in bed with a lot of these blue states and have been for a while. And so it's interesting that some of them would be pushing against what they're trying to do, but it makes sense. I'm curious to read the actual executive order, though. A one rule executive order. Trump is also somewhat doing that himself. Squirrels, they are flying. Yeah, people are loving that flying squirrel thing. If you guys missed Saturday's Power Hour, that's where me and Chris were talking about it. The metaphor is we are like dogs in a backyard, and the enemy just keeps shooting squirrels into the backyard. So we're like, oh, squirrel, oh, a squirrel. Every time we think we got a squirrel, they shoot another one in there. And currently there are hundreds of thousands of squirrels all over the place. I'm with Badlands. Get elections honest. Seems Venezuela is source of machine fraud and mail-in ballots. Get rid of them. Yeah. I just, there's another Patrick Byrne post. Let me see if I can find it. And he said this, and I was like, what if this is exactly what you're doing with our elections? Let me see, where's it at? Hold for processing. It was sometime this weekend. We were kind of talking about it in our little private group. Here we go. I think this is it. Twinning. Know this espionage trick. When a truth is surfacing in society that they wish to suppress, they promote a false but similar story, which at a critical moment expose as a lie. Big truths coming out now, and they are already twinning. For example, Hugo did not name Schiff. What if this is exactly what they're doing with the election story? Like the Venezuela, the voting machine story that Emerald's putting out and all these people. I'm not saying that is what they're doing. I'm just asking a question. Like, what if that is what they're doing? We know election fraud is more than just the machines, but that's definitely one of the big parts of it. They can get you a death by 1,000 cuts, right? But in Trump's draft executive order, you know what? Let me just pull that up even because I think it might be worth it. Oh, where's it at? Draft executive order. This is from my addendum 4, where Trump, again, never signed this, but he listed a whole bunch of voting shenanigans having to do with especially the Antrim County. Evidence of international and foreign interference in the November 3rd, 2020 election. Dominion voting systems and related companies are owned heavily controlled and influenced by foreign agents, countries, and interests. The forensic report prepared by experts found that Dominion voting systems is intentionally and purposely designed with inherent errors to create systemic fraud and influence election results. There's also probable cause to find that Dominion voting systems, Smartmatic, electronic systems and software, Hart InterCivic, Clarity Election Eye Reporting, Edison Research, Sequoia, Skytle, and similar or related entities, agents, or assigns have the same flaws and were subject to foreign interference in the 2020 election in the United States. And then I point out this from the EISCC. Dominion Voting Systems is based in Toronto, Canada, and assigns its intellectual property, including patents on its firmware and software, to Hong Kong and Shanghai Bank Corporation, a bank with its foundation in China and its current headquarters in London. Dominion Voting Systems is owned and controlled by foreign entities. Multiple expert witnesses and cyber experts identified acts of foreign interference in the election prior to November 3rd. I don't even think he mentions Venezuela in this whole thing. And so what if it's not actually Venezuela? What if it's something else? What if it's a different machine? What if it's a different method? And it's what we're getting from these people is just a red herring. Phil Scarborough, I actually think there's more fraud with mail-ins, drop boxes, and ballot-related shenanigans than ran through the machine. So I think they use those too. Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. What would make you believe the Venezuela-machine story? Tulsi coming out to the cameras and showing the proof? I don't know. That's a good question, because I don't know what, like, the psyops are so aplenty right now that I don't know what it would take to actually, like, get me to believe a story coming from any of these people that I don't know. But when you're running an op that's, like, clearly trying to delegitimize Trump, because that's what they're doing. And you're hard pressed to find like proof the opposite. When you're coming out here and saying that Trump doesn't know what he's doing and he doesn't know how to hire these people and like all these people are trying to subvert him and he doesn't know like any of this stuff, you are attempting to delegitimize him. And that is what the enemy does. And there could be a good benevolent reason you're trying to do that too. Fine, whatever. But since I don't know that for sure, I'm just going to go by what I can see you're doing. And so it's hard for me to believe that story about Venezuela election machines when I also see this delegitimization of Trump, like in back to back, like in the same breath, pretty much. And if it's great and these guys do end up exposing what's wrong with our elections and get us to some sort of election system that we can actually, trust, I'll be extremely happy. And I will say, I'm sorry, Patrick Byrne, for ever doubting you. I'd be the first one to do that. No problem at all. I don't see it. John, red herrings, flying squirrels. What's next? Jumping sharks. John, if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle. Yeah. Why the red herring, though? That's my burning question. Why? Why are they doing this? Tickton, Flynn, Laura Logan. I just want to know the truth. I agree. And I don't know. I don't know for sure. And we may never know what their motives are and what the reason is. But it doesn't matter. If we can see the op, we call it out and we operate moving forward knowing that there's some sort of op in play and like don't fall for it. Don't get hoodwinked. The motives of some of these people may never be revealed. We appears to be spun in circles just like under 45. That didn't end well with the shutdown. Yeah, and that's people are spinning in circles right now. Almost feels like it's on purpose. It's by design. I'm not saying this is the motive for stuff, but it usually is power and money. That is typically true. Yeah, I don't know, guys. There's just something's off with this Venezuela thing. Don't know what it is. Yeah, there's clearly a disappointed in Trump operation underway. I mean, even in this own chat, like how many people are, I'm sick of all these problems being exposed, but us not getting any accountability. They're valid concerns, totally valid. But then the people are kind of preying on that, those feelings, those legitimate feelings. And I think they're trying to use those and weaponize those in a way that is actually damaging to Trump. So I don't know, hold for processing. Let's see what happens with it. People are stuck on retard. That's the one gear. Once you get into it, it's really difficult to get out. See what happens. There was a Truth Social post about tariffs and how he's gonna, there's many other methods of charging tariffs against foreign countries, but the Supreme Court is the best way if they just rule in our favor. We'll see what happens. And then this is another long Truth Social post. I might as well read it though. Can you imagine the Democrats under the crooked Joe Biden administration, who always use extreme force and jail time to destroy their political opponent, wanted to put Congressman Henry Cuellar and his wife Imelda in prison for 15 years, which I predicted these radical left lunatics would do, and they never stopped wanting to fulfill this evil quest. The Dems mercilessly went after Henry with everything they had. They were looking to destroy him, his lovely wife, his 2 young daughters, and anyone close to them. When the Democrats overwhelmingly lost the 2024 presidential election and power with it, they, regardless, did everything they could to keep going with the Cuellar family. I don't know if I'm saying that last name right. The Dems were vicious, and all because Henry strongly wanted, correctly, border security. He was against illegals pouring into our country, totally unchecked and unvetted. The congressman didn't want gang members, drug dealers, violent prisoners, people from mental institutions, and yes, even murderers in the good old USA. It was all very unfair what they were doing to him and his family, so much so that his daughters wrote me a beautiful letter about their parents, just posted on Truth. After reading it, I decided in the interest of justice and based on daughter's loving request that I would give Henry and Imelda a full and complete pardon. I never spoke to the congressman, his wife, or his daughters, but felt very good about fighting for a family that was tormented by the very sick and deranged people. They were treated so badly. I signed the papers and said to people in the Oval Office that I just did a very good, perhaps life-saving thing. God was very happy with me that day. Then it happened. Only a short time after signing the pardon, Congressman Harry Cuellar announced that he will be running for Congress again in the great state of Texas, a state where I received the highest number of votes ever recorded. As a Democrat, continuing to work with the same radical left scum that just weeks before wanted him and his wife to spend the rest of their lives in prison, and probably still do. Such a lack of loyalty. Something that Texas voters and Henry's daughters will not like. Oh well, next time, no more Mr. Nice Guy, President Donald J. Trump. I do hope that if I ever, become politically persecuted, that you guys will write nice letters to try to get me off the hook to whoever is politically persecuting me. Higgy 5, all the back and forth. Look, you either believe what was stated in the beginning, regardless of what it looks and sounds like, or you didn't really believe it to begin with. That's a good point. The only way out of a PSYOP is a better PSYOP. We're here to guide normies through the darkness, not become normies ourselves. Yeah, that's the thing. I think we can call out PSYOPs and break people from those chains, Yeah, okay. Let's see what else I got for you. I already did the Patrick Byrne letter. I just haven't had a chance to read through the whole thing. But here's the thing. This letter, it never actually mentions Ratcliffe in it. I did a word search. And that was the other thing that I found was weird. Like a story everyone from John Ratcliffe fought to keep public, but it doesn't actually mention Ratcliffe anywhere in the letter. So I still don't know what that's about. Besson says Trump accounts will act as a trust fund for eligible children. The Trump accounts were established under the One Big Beautiful Bill Act earlier this year. The pilot program will begin next year and allows parents, guardians, and family members to invest up to $5,000 a year starting in July. I'm curious to see how that goes. I don't know, that story's boring. Oh my gosh, guys, Democrats are hypocrites. Democrats once called out links between drug trafficking and terrorism, but then came Trump. Now they don't do that anymore. There's been a weird Netflix, Warner Brothers, Paramount thing going on. Netflix struck a deal to buy Warner Brothers over the weekend. And then on Monday, today, Paramount launched a hostile takeover for Warner Bros. Paramount had made the first several bids for Warner Brothers and was the only company seeking to buy all of its portfolio, film studio, streaming business, and TV networks before Netflix made a $72 billion deal with them on Friday. Paramount offer for the entirety of WBD provides shareholders $18 billion more in cash than the Netflix consideration. WBD's board of directors' recommendation of the Netflix transaction over Paramount's offer is based on an illusory prospective valuation of global networks that is unsupported by the business fundamentals and encumbered by high levels of financial leverage assigned to the entity. Paramount's like taking over everything now. David Ellison. And didn't Trump just call them out earlier? Yeah. For the 60 Minutes thing. Interesting. See what happens with that, though. Not that I truly care, but I do like, the Ellison stuff is more interesting to me than not, just because of his orbit to Trump. So we'll see what happens. China's trade surplus tops $1 trillion despite Trump's attempt to contain it. Here's what that means. Trade surplus roared above $1 trillion in November for the first time ever, despite the ongoing global trade war that has resulted in a steep drop in exports. In the first 11 months of this year, China's overall exports grew 5.4% compared to the same time period in 2024, while imports fell 0.6%, taking its trade surplus to $1.076 trillion this year as of November, up 21.6%. It's a big number. China continues to rely less on selling stuff to the U.S., wrote whoever this guy, Peter Bukvar. China has a massive pool of domestic savings, and China will again try to encourage consumers to unleash more. I'm curious to see how the trade war with them ends. Keep tabs on that as we go. Nothing. Fox News. Don't care. Yeah, I had a lot of stories that are just so dumb. I don't really care. This is an interesting one, and I'll probably end with this one because I did, as I stated earlier, start going through that NDAA. The FBI to be under harsh new microscope as Stefanik scores a victory in the annual defense bill. A Republican-backed measure in this year's annual defense policy is aimed at significantly expanding FBI transparency in American elections. A provision in the 3,000-page NDAA would force the Bureau to disclose the initiation of a counterintelligence assessment or investigation against a candidate for federal office or a current elected official within 15 days of its launch. Specifically, it would mandate the FBI notify the top 4 congressional leaders in the House and Senate, as well as the top Republican and top Democrat in both chambers, judiciary, and intelligence committees. An exception would be granted if one of those people was the target of such a probe, however. And just right off the bat, 3,000 pages in the NDAA. I know that's become the norm, and I hate it. I hate that with every fiber of my being. This thing is so bloated, and there's so much stuff in here. It's impossible for anybody to truly go through it. And like, I'm not even sure how our elected officials and the people like running the books of where this money goes can account for it. They make it impossible. It's so convoluted. They also sneak so much in there. Like, this is not the way to do it. And they know that, but they do it anyway. They don't care. It's so dumb. But yeah, I was going through the bill this morning, just first rough draft. This is from the Senate. This is not with the House changes in there. But the first thing that stuck out, keep in mind, this is a bill to authorize appropriations for fiscal year 2026 for military activities of the Department of Defense, military construction, defense activities of the Department of Energy, to prescribe military personnel strengths for fiscal year, and then this little caveat right here, and for other purposes. Again, the National Defense Authorization Act. And know what they freaking put in here? The Road to Housing Act. And it's as dumb as it sounds. Like, I'm not saying this isn't a bad act on its own or whatever, maybe, but they're sneaking this in. This does not belong in a National Defense Authorization Act. They're doing it to improve financial literacy, build more in America, manufactured housing for America, accessing the American dream, program reform, veterans and housing, oversight and accountability, whatever, studies, reporting. Why is this in here? What are they trying to sneak through? What else are they trying to sneak through? I only spent about an hour like picking my way through this morning, mainly doing keyword searches. And I don't like it. Don't like it at all. Jacob 45 Allen. Hello, John. Just passing through. I'll rewatch later. Thanks for being here, man. I love boring news days, late and listening from the start. Hi, guys. What happened to single issue bills? That is a good question. It's really nothing has changed. Congress sucks. Congress is the worst. They'll never pass the filibuster. Not that, our entire hopes and dreams and future as a country is not relying on the filibuster, guys. I don't care how many times I say that. It's like Chris said on the Power Hour a couple weeks ago. Nothing can stop what is coming except for the filibuster. That's what they're trying to make us believe, but no. John, these bills won't stand after the elections are challenged and overturned. Return to constitutional republic. Yeah. But how do we get there unless we start calling this stuff out, The government will never work for we the people. These things won't change. Too much money, power, and corruption. Yep, which is why the filibuster being the solution to all our problems makes no sense. Because these are the primary beneficiaries causing our problems. Have I mentioned that Congress is fake and gay? Yes. Illegitimate, the worst, all corrupt. The single issue bill stuff is so dumb. Everything's so convoluted. It's just so annoying. And I almost feel dumb even talking about it because they're not going to change. They're not going to stop doing it. Clearly. Although we did have some success when Biden was in office and we got them to reduce that one pork-filled bill down to like nothing. But just the amount of money that they put in this thing, I'm pretty sure it's well over $1 trillion. I wonder if I can find what else is in here. If you guys want to. Oh, know what I could do? I could search Israel, see if anything comes up for that. Extension and modification of United States-Israel cooperation to counter unmanned aerial systems. Some Iron Dome stuff. Ballistic missiles, intercepting missiles, extension of anti-tunnel cooperation. We're given $80 million on anti-tunnel cooperation. Purchaser with a special designation. In this subsection, the term purchaser with special designation means Israel, Japan, the Republic of Korea, New Zealand, the Philippines, Thailand, Taiwan, member countries of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Yeah, it's just so dumb. Of the funds authorized to be appropriated by this act for fiscal year 2026 procurement, defense-wide and available for the Missile Defense Agency, not more than $60 million may be provided to the government of Israel to procure components for the Iron Dome. Iron Dome defense system. This is just a couple more, guys, and then I think it's like 10 more. What is this? Oh, it's more defense stuff. Oh, what is this? U.S.-Israel joint R&D on emerging technologies. And what is this again? They asked for 81 million, or is this in millions? In $1,000. So that would be, what is 81 in thousands? That would be 81 million, right? 81,513,000, and we're giving them more. Joint research. Isn't that the thing that Laura Loomer was saying? Like, we give them money, but think of how much, benefit we get in return for intelligence and technologies and all that stuff. And you know what? I'll never understand situations where if they ask, this is what they ask for. This is what they're requesting. Why are we giving them more? Like, what is the benefit of giving them more money for those situations? Doesn't make sense. DARPA Advanced Technology Development, $1.6 billion. Oh, there was one other thing I did find. Maybe you guys will have a good explanation for this. Yeah, right here. Emerging technologies, ensuring intelligence community procurement. I don't know why I'm struggling with that word right now. Procurement of domestic United States production of synthetic DNA and RNA. Why does our intelligence community need synthetic DNA and RNA? Does anybody have a good explanation for that? Because I don't. And I'm curious. Curious if you guys have any explanation. Anti-tunnel, yes. If normies aren't awake by now, they're incapable. Dang tunnel juice. Thanks for the show, John. Got to leave early. Have a great day, everyone. You guys have a great day, too. They're only working 100 days next year, so how can they possibly do single appropriation bills in 100 days? It's ridiculous. I mean, our government is just maybe way too bloated. Biological weapons, maybe. I mean, there's a lot of biotechnology stuff in here. But specifically, why do they need... And like, what? Not only why do they need DNA and RNA, were they getting it from other countries before? Like, why do we need to make sure that we're getting it ourselves now? It's just silly. For laundering. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. This thing is so bloated. There's probably so much in here that we'll never be able to root out the corruption. Not that they do it anyway, but so dumb. Oh, there was some other, one more thing I'm gonna look at, and then we'll get you guys out of here. Director of National Intelligence. There's something in here where they were trying to manage the scope. Yeah, modification of responsibilities and authorities of the DNI. Reforms to the Office of the DNI. Let's see what it says. That's not it. That's not it. All right, they're in here quite a bit, so it might take a second. International agreements on nuclear weapons. That's fun. Okay, it'll probably be in this section here. Maybe. Orderly reduction in staff of the Office of Director of National Intelligence. on a date that is at least 90 days after the date in which the plan required by subsection A1 is submitted. Are they trying to make her fire people? Not later than 90 days, the Director of National shall submit to Congress a plan to reduce the staff of the DNI. They're trying to cut Tulsi's office. Why are they doing that? What the hell is going on? Elimination of deputy directors of national intelligence and instead assistant directors. There's something weird going on, guys, with this. Is Congress trying to hamper what Gabbard's doing? And they're changing some DNI stuff. National Counterintelligence and Security Center. They're putting that in the FBI. Weird. And sorry if this is super boring. I'm just trying to figure out what the hell is going on. The Director of National Intelligence may convene one or more national intelligence task forces the director considers necessary to address intelligence priorities. Okay. I don't think we've even... Yeah, I may have to do this separately after the show. We can talk about it tomorrow. Notification of certain declassifications. Oh, you know what? The last thing I promise. Come on. Why can't I type? It won't let me type. What the heck is going on? There we go. There's this section. Declassification of intelligence and additional transparency measures relating to COVID-19. Something I could maybe get behind. Anyway. It's not about weakening the normies. It's about managing them, training them to look in the right direction when it all goes down. I think we overestimate, and we've talked about this, Ghost talked about it Friday, how much the normies care. I was really low on Fs to give when Herold started. Now I'm all out on Monday. Yeah. That's how you should feel on Monday, though. You should wake up with like the minimum amount of Fs given. By Wednesday, you should maybe recoup a few Fs to give. But then Thursday, the Fs should be again retreating through the weekend and waking up with 0 on Monday. You should have peak Fs to give on Wednesday. And then hopefully we've gotten rid of all those Fs by Friday. No Fs to give. John, what is this you're reading through? I want to word search it for qualitative military edge. I'll put the link in the chat, guys, to where you can find this bill. You have to download the PDF. This is the Senate version of the NDAA. But I will search that right now. Qualitative military edge. Doesn't look like anything is coming up. Let's see if it's just the word qualitative. There we go. What does this have to do with? Improving self-sufficiency of families in HUD subsidized housing. In the defense, the only time qualitative that word is used in the entire NDAA has to do with the housing thing they're trying to sneak in. That's funny. All right, guys. We do have. When are you publishing Badlands NDAA? It's a good question. Maybe when the lawsuit's over, years from now. Keith Higgins, John, can we get an old-fashioned racist road to housing act passed? Remember when Transportation Director Buttigieg said we built racist roads? They were well-traveled and not built by Somalians. When I got my haircut today, the barber's wife is from like St. Cloud in Minnesota. And we were talking about Somalians for a little bit. Actually, I was like, man, that place is just like overrun. He's like, it's actually worse in the cities. He's like, we won't even go there anymore. We have her family come meet us in North Dakota, like halfway in Fargo. And I was like, yeah, that's crazy. Goes to base. That's what I think they're referring to with the special designation for Israel, Japan, etc. Gotcha. So tomorrow, PJ Corrigan, so tomorrow we recruit some fucks, and by Wednesday we are at peak fucks to give. Yes. And then they start going back down. So like you should have 0 fucks on Monday. By Tuesday, maybe you have 1 fuck to give. Wednesday, you'll have 2. And then Thursday back down to 1, Friday 0. That's what you should be doing it anyway. You don't want any of them to give on the weekends. But all right, guys. I'm going to get you over to Y Chromes. And then I'm also actually want to play a soft disclosure ad real quick. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up. I will be back again tonight on Baseless Conspiracies. So you guys tune into that. And then also, I think we're doing Eyes Wide Shut, which I was supposed to watch that movie. I should probably try to find time to do that today if I can. But also, I'll be back tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to go through more of this bill, see if I can find any other shenanigans. And yeah, we'll see what happens. So you guys have a great rest of your day. Hit the thumbs up and enjoy your time over on Y Chromes. I will see you guys this evening.
Soft disclosure, just dropped new favorites for the season. The lotion, your 5-ounce favorite, is still here. And now we've added full 11-ounce bottles. New lavender tea tree deodorant, clean, calm, and effective. New tallow bars, chamomile lemon rose and naked. Rich moisture that actually works. And now the lineup is complete. Beard oil in unscented and spiced vanilla. Palo lip balms, available in chamomile mint, vanilla, naked, and vanilla tangerine. Palo Bar Minis for pocket-ready hydration. Available in vanilla coffee and naked. And finally, lavender vanilla lotion. Clean, calm, and made to work. Visit softdisclosure.com. Use code Badlands and get 15% off. Soft Disclosure, for truth you can gift.